Hey family, what's up? My name is Ella Jean. Let's get you started on your first GarageBand project. Open up GarageBand and double click Empty Project to get started. You're going to be prompted by this window. It defaults to the microphone and it's going to set up your audio interface. If you don't have an audio interface, that's a-okay. Don't click away because we're also going to talk about importing audio just from another file on your computer. Or if you have one of these like Zoom recorder microphones, maybe you've like recorded guitar into something or another vocal into something like a recording device. We're going to talk about that in a bit as well, so stay tuned. I'll allow you to skip ahead. But for now, setting up an audio interface. On here, you're going to have options on the left-hand side for the input preferences and the right-hand side for the output preferences. So if you don't have an audio interface, just select an option here, which is like your headphones for the audio output device. If you do have an audio interface, you might have multiple inputs. I have a Scarlett 2i4 that has a input, one that's currently a microphone and one that's a guitar, so whichever one I want selected, my microphone's going into input 1, so I'm going to select that one. An important point, which isn't really always discussed in these tutorials because different audio interfaces all have different designs for this, is how do you set up the quality of recording on an audio interface? There's options on GarageBand for turning up and down the volume, but you don't want to do that yet. So before you've even really got started with your project, what you want to do is check on your audio interface, test some stuff into the mic, and sometimes there's a visual feedback. So mine has a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. And so the yellow light and red light mean that I'm peaking or I'm a little bit too loud into the microphone. There's a dial that if I've turned it up too loud, it's going to go to yellow or red. So what I want to try to do before I even start anything else is to make sure that I have the right volume going in to the microphone by getting just that sweet spot before it turns yellow. And you can do this by shouting or saying something loud into the mic and seeing if it goes red. And you want to just keep it just on that edge between before it goes yellow or red and when it's green. You don't want it to be too quiet because you don't want to have to make a whole bunch of adjustments within GarageBand. If there isn't a visual, then once you've started the track, once you've opened up the track, before you adjust any of the volumes within GarageBand, try to adjust what you can on your interface before that happens. Another thing, if you don't have an audio interface, you may just have a snowball mic or a USB mic that just plugs directly in via USB. That's okay too. That will be your my instrument is connected with input, and just make sure that your headphones are selected as an output. If you have mixing speakers and a microphone going, do not tick this box because there will be feedback. If you have headphones on the other hand and a microphone is totally okay, that will be your monitoring device, and you'll hear when I hit create, you can hear me through GarageBand. That's this little upside down Wi-Fi signal that I'm going to turn off for now. What else is going on here? Okay, so on the left-hand side, this is your library of effects that can be applied to the track, and down here is your EQ and compression. Another tutorial for another day. I'm just going to leave those for now. My pro tip of the day, however, is to open up the notepad on the side of the screen here, and it's great for if you have lyrics or mixing notes for your song, or just keeping track of like, okay, last Tuesday when I worked on the track, I finished with the vocals. It's a great way to just keep track of what you're actually working on GarageBand. I'm just going to put my notes for the demo in here for now. So that's what that is. So you can start off right away by your first keyboard command. All that you gotta do is hit R, and it's gonna start recording. It's gonna count you in. And I'm recording my first thing, spacebar to stop. And you'll notice if you do have the notepad open that you don't want to have that blue frame around it. You want to be clicking on here. I'm going to go into what a track header is and how to configure it. If you want to skip this, go right ahead. To open up how to configure your track header, what you got to do is your second keyboard command is Option T. Option T. It's going to bring up these tick boxes. If you would please tick all of them for me, that would be much appreciated. And you could also access that same thing by going track, configure track header. But I'm teaching you the keyboard shortcuts because life is a hell of a lot easier when you do that. So what's going on in this track header? So also as I label it, because I like to stay organized, I think you should too, I'm going to explain all the different things here on the track header. So first of all, there's the mute icon. So if I toggle that on and off, it simply is muting the track so I can't hear back what's playing. If I have put the headphone symbol on, that's isolating the track, so all other tracks that I have going will be muted, and just this one will be playing. My first thing, spacebar. There we go. This lock here, you'll notice that when it's not selected, I can move this around the timeline. Your timeline is all these little, this kind of ruler thing on the top. When you move what is this thing, the track header, around, you'll see that it's showing me which bar and which beat I'm on. So like the fourth bar, the first beat, second beat, third beat, fourth beat, etc. If you have track lock enabled, that stops you from being able to move it. It comes up with this, hey, you can't do that thing. Why might you do that? Well, if you are prone to making accidents like me, you can use track lock to prevent yourself from accidentally recording onto a track or accidentally shifting something around when you don't mean to. So that will just say, hey, you locked the track, and GarageBand will save you from your own brain. So I'm going to come back to this record enable. I'm just going to say once again, that little upside down Wi-Fi symbol is input monitoring. Record enable, what's that? Well, like I said, I have two different instruments going into my track right now. So I'm going to create a second track so that I can play guitar. Another keyboard command. If we go Option, Command, N, that will bring up our open screen again, the thing that we saw at the beginning. This time I'm going to select input 2, and I'm going to be okay with having my monitoring on, hit create, and now I can hear my guitar through there. I'm going to hide those other things again as well. Ooh, there you go. If you have that question mark, that's another nice pro tip as well. If you put that question mark on, you can be in learn mode, and it will tell you once again, remind you what everything is. Gonna take that away. So now I have guitar going into that second one, and just by right clicking this icon I can also make a little pretty picture for it too. So now I have two tracks. So Ella, I want to record my microphone and my guitar at the same time but onto two different tracks. How do I go about doing that? Well, my friend, you just hit the record enable on both of those tracks, use your keyboard shortcut again to start recording. You'll be counted in. Booyah! We've recorded our first two tracks. Excelente! Awesome. Let me take you through the next thing. What is this loopy guy next to our record button? What's that supposed to do? When I hit it, it puts like this elastic band around what I've just played, and it actually loops that. So as soon as it finishes, it goes back to the beginning, like that. Cool, right. So you can toggle this on and off with your next keyboard shortcut by hitting C on your keyboard. It turns it on and off. Just a little handy thing to know. Your next keyboard shortcut is if you want to snap this track header back to the right beginning of the track. This is useful if you've got a long track going. Just hit enter. Goes right back to the beginning. Awesome. So now that I've got this little elastic band thing, if I highlight that, this will allow me to record multiple takes, right? So I've recorded my guitar, I'm happy with it, I'm not going to re-record that, but I'm going to try a few different things vocally. So see what happens here. La, 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 Cool. Now, in this left-hand corner, you'll see 4 or 5 or however many takes you just did. When you hit it, it's going to show you all the different takes that you just did. So, la 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 la. So you can hear I was just moving through all the different takes that I did. So that's super cool. You can try the same like pass of a song over and over again and then select which take you want. Or I'm going to show you how you could make like multiple harmonies. Let's just go into that real quick. So in the same way that you could duplicate something on Photoshop or on PowerPoint or something, just by selecting the track and then going Command D, there's your next keyboard shortcut. Command D, you've duplicated the track. And another keyboard shortcut to be super easy, if you hold down the Option key while you drag a clip to a different portion of the song or a different track even, it really, really easily duplicates it. So then when I let that go, I have duplicated whatever I've selected, which is super cool because maybe for this, I want to select take 3, and then for this one, I've selected take 4, and then when I play them together, la 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 la. How freaking cool! That is awesome! So I just looped it around the same way, and then I can duplicate the segment. It's so cool. If you want to save space on your computer, what you can also do is within this track folder, just go delete unused takes. That takes away what you have also in that folder. But oh no, what if you accidentally delete it and you change your mind, you don't want that? It's the same command as Photoshop, Microsoft Word, anything like that. Just Command Z will undo, and Shift Command Z will, of course, redo. So there you go. Okay, so we've got some harmonies. Go ahead and delete that guy. So we've got some harmonies. Cool, cool, cool. Now I've got this guitar. This guitar is perfectly segmented into just the right amount of bars that I want. Vocals are cool. Okay, so I like this guitar, but I could just copy paste it. So Command C, Command V, and then it would like have the same one going over and over again. But an even easier way to do that is to just use the simple looping function that's here. So by holding down the top right corner, I can loop this guitar and it's gonna loop over and over and over again. So cool. I can do the same thing to the vocals. Maybe I just want to like loop 1. So what that would sound like, la 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 la. It's gonna go around in the same loop. The guitar is doing the same thing, perfectly synchronized to the metronome. La 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 la. Easy, so cool, right? Okay. Thank you for joining us. If you have just come in without an audio interface, you have a Zoom microphone, you have audio clips saved on your computer, I'm going to show you how to import those. It's as easy as going to your Finder, going to your very well organized desktop, oh Lord, going to whatever audio file that you have going and dragging it into the project. It's that easy. That's all you got to do. So cool. And then, boom. You've imported
Taco. They got a new thing called free Shavakadu.
I'm sorry, I just really like Vine samples. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is if you have your audio clips saved in iTunes, this media browser in the top corner allows you to open iTunes directly and drag something in. So I've got this weird sample of a tram and some birds singing, so I can play that. Just drag that in from iTunes. So whichever way you have it, if you have that on just from the Finder or from iTunes, that's how you can do that. So say that I have some dead space at the beginning of a clip here, or I want to delete something. I only want to have a segment. So I'm going to find just where free Shavakadu comes in, right?
Get to Del Taco. They got a new thing called free Shavakadu.
Okay, so how do I edit out the parts that I don't want out of this clip?
Get to Del Taco.
So I stop
they got a new thing called...
Stop it right where I want it. There's 2 ways of changing the length of a clip. On the bottom left-hand corner, I can just drag it and that will change it. Or if I've made like a very precise spot, what I can do is your next keyboard shortcut, and arguably the most important keyboard shortcut you're ever going to learn, it is Command T, and that splits a clip. Splits a clip right in half, like a karate chop. And what that does, splits a clip in half, and you're able to toggle back and forth by simply using your left and right arrow keys on your keyboard, like that. And whichever one is highlighted there will be the one that's selected. So say that I want to delete the beginning of this, I select it, and I just go backspace, delete, goodbye, and now I have this nice segmented free Shavakadu.
Free Shavakadu!
Cool, so I don't know why you would need that, but there you go. So we have that as a little intro to our track. Cool. So there you go. What possibly else is there to explain? Exporting. That's all you really need to know. So this metronome as well has been handy. It's been helping us out. When I play it back, it doesn't work for the whole track, so maybe I don't actually have it. Also, if there's something too loud in here, as I say, try to set your inputs for your microphone, guitar, whatever you actually have going in, so that you don't need to adjust these straight away. But, you know, this clip is quite loud, so I can make some adjustments for the rest of the track header here. So I can turn down the volume just by sliding that there. I could also make it pan left or right by going here. So maybe I want this to go a little bit right and Free Shavakadu to go a little bit left. Then we have that. And if I want to unselect my count in, which is this 1, 2, 3, 4, or the metronome is very easily toggled with your next keyboard shortcut by just hitting K. Toggles on and off. Very, very easy. So what does this sound like?
Free Shavakadu.
Awesome. Cool. Well, looks like our track is done. So, how do we export? Final step. It's pretty easy. All you gotta do is, first of all, check to see that your metronome is not enabled. You don't want to export that and have that recorded. And that you're not isolating any tracks. So don't have anything that's on headphones or anything that's muted that you don't want muted. And then you just go up to Share, down Skip iTunes, Media Browser, SoundCloud, go down to Export Song to Disk. 4 different options for how you can export it, but I'm only going to explain 2 because don't need to overcomplicate things. If you want to Google AAC and AIFF, go for it. I'm just going to talk about MP3 and WAV. What is the difference between those two? Well, WAV is an uncompressed format, so it's going to just keep the volume as authentic as it was in this track. That might mean that there's a lot of sort of fluctuations of volume. It's also going to be a larger file size. But it's great for instance, when I'm talking to my podcast clients and they've recorded something on GarageBand themselves, I ask them, please just export it in WAV because I'm going to add the compression later. And you might even notice there's a slight difference in audio quality when it comes to MP3 because it's like a more compressed, more low bit file version. However, if you are uploading to a website that's asking you to upload it as an MP3, you might want to select MP3. If you don't know which one to do, it's kind of good practice just for your songs. Export it twice. Export it once as WAV, once as MP3. You never know when you're going to need different file types. All you got to do is find where you want to save it, change the title. Let's call it Free Shavakadu. Let's export it, kids. Boom. Just takes a second. There you go. And it's also going to export it, however, as long as you have this arrow at the end of the track. So if I wanted to export it again as a WAV and have that shorter, have it end right at the end of those loops. Let's just show that one more time. Go to Share, Export Song to Disk. This time I might do it as a WAV. It might take a tiny bit longer. Not really. Boom. And that's saved. Wow, guys, we whipped through it. Few keyboard commands to show you, got you started on GarageBand, few basic instructions for how to start out. I really hope that's helped. This was all because my website, mysteryplanet.net, is a end-to-end podcast production service. So I do all of this using a different software, Logic or Ableton, but I do sound design, editing audio, helping people record their podcast, copywriting, show notes, full-on podcast production. My goal is if you are the next Brene Brown or Tim Ferriss or Oprah, I will help you produce a podcast. So all that you have to worry about is what you want to say and not how it's all recorded like this. But, you know, if you're here, it's probably because you want to get into a little bit of audio production yourself. So hope this helped. I am here every Friday. I'm either live streaming this on Twitch or uploading it to YouTube. Today doing it on YouTube because I couldn't be live streaming on Friday. But I really hope this has helped you. And please, 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 ask me more questions if this has helped drive more curiosity. Maybe you want to know about EQ and compression or different things about vocals. I have lots coming down the pipeline, but I love getting questions in so I can make a video just for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope it's helped. Peace and love. Have a great day.